So I've been listening to you, and what I'm hearing you say is that you want some straightforward information on what's going on with real estate and mortgages and where are we at in this cycle. Now, I'm not an expert and I do not have a degree and I'm not a realtor, but I am a fourth-generation apartment building and real estate owner here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've been in the mortgage business for 10 years, and every day I come in, I talk to clients, I talk to realtors, and I feel that I have my finger on the pulse of this market. And I want to share a little bit of that with you today. One of the things that frustrates me the most about economic reports and when real estate news comes out like pending home sales or existing home sales is that one publication and one author can interpret the report completely different than another author. And oftentimes you'll get two different publications analyzing the same report and you get completely different viewpoints. So I boiled this down to some very simplistic information, and I hope that it is easy to understand and brings some value to you. All right, so I want to take a step back. Where have we been in real estate over the last 30 years? And this is probably the most important slide that I'm going to show you. If you look on average over the last 30 years, we're going to see about 5% appreciation per year, 25% every 5-year period. That's nationwide over the last 30 years. Now, what happened in 2000 to 2006? We got crazy. Absolutely unsustainable. 12, 13, 14% appreciation rates. There had to be a correction there. Now, if you look at this from a return on investment standpoint, and this is very current numbers from January 1st, 2000 through January 1st, 2011. So in the last 10 years, if you would have looked at any asset class listed here, real estate still drastically outperformed everything else. And this is what I think is so beautiful about real estate. If you're paying cash for a property, let's say you pay a $200,000 property, and you have a 5% appreciation, which we just talked about was the average, then that means that you make a $10,000 return on a $200,000 investment, 5% rate of return. Now, if you take that same $200,000 property and you put 20% down, so let's say that you make a $40,000 cash investment, and then you have a 5% appreciation on that $200,000 home, that means the home just appreciated $10,000, but you only invested $40,000. Well, that's a 25% rate of return. That excludes cash flow, tax deductibility, which I call phantom cash flow, and a lot of other positives from owning real estate. All right, so where are we headed? You can see that from about 2006 through the fourth quarter of 2010, really real estate futures and sales were coming down. But the National Association of Realtors and Fannie Mae are both projecting that the demand for homes, that home sales are starting to increase. That is congruent with the most recent report from the National Association of Realtors. In December of 2010, we just sold 5.2 million homes in this country. In November of 2010, we sold 4.8 million homes. So in one of the worst weather months of the year, do you remember it was abysmal? New York was completely shut down. You couldn't get anywhere in the entire country. In one of the worst weather months, we had a 12.3% increase in the number of homes sold. That is a return of buyers to the market. Now, what's the downside to real estate right now? Bank-owned properties and shadow inventory. There are a lot of homes out there that are have notice of default filed, that are in foreclosure, that are going to be coming on the market. Wall Street Journal says very possible we could see an 8% decline in prices over the next year. Now, here's what you need to think through on a local level. Supply and demand, guys. If we have a 7+ month inventory, it's a buyer's market, possible depreciation. Utah, we've got an 8.1 months worth of supply. So we could have a little bit of price depreciation locally still. The most important thing is you need to think through affordability. When you talk about the cost of a home, unless you're paying cash for that home, it's the home plus your interest rate over 30 years. If rates go from 4.5% to 5.5%, it more than makes up for a 10% decrease in price of the home. So when you talk about affordability, I think this is the most affordable time real estate will ever be. I want to take you back to this graph. We're so centered in the last couple of years that we forget about this 5% appreciation, 25% every 5 years. So take a look long term. I think real estate's still the best investment out there. So what I ask for you is I would be honored if you would take this message, send it out to anybody who's interested in buying a home. Send it to your family, your friends, your first-time home buyers or investors who need advice. I'd certainly love to help them. Thanks for your time tonight, and I hope you appreciated the message.